All right, it's Thursday, January 19th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we follow through lower from the big red bar from yesterday. It ends up with a bit of a neutral looking bar with a bias to the downside, but it kind of acted as you would expect. First of all, if we look at the 15-minute price structure on the day, we were anticipating kind of working down, well, the pre-market lows by the time the market started was down here. So anyway, the first bar kind of worked up a little bit and then had the big shooter bar, and then we kind of worked down to take out those overnight lows. And when you have a gap down from the day before, and even though you have targets, lower, it's tough sometimes to get momentum to the downside. So ideally, you kind of want to see a little up move and then push down. In this case, the up move didn't even get to the closer yesterday. So basically, I actually got aggressive and bought puts here at the yellow line, and that was a nice morning trade. And again, that's what I'm always looking to do, is take the first move of the day. And what you can tell here is how choppy it was going down. We definitely had the shooter bar, but then we paused a little bit. Then we tried lower, we paused. Then we kind of held and paused. We came down, we took out those lows, we paused. Then we made a little secondary move. So this whole move down here showed you there wasn't much momentum going on in terms of really following through all the way to the weekly target that's still in play. And I'll get to that in a second. So you can just kind of tell it was choppy, and it was a good opportunity, after a long period of time, to take gains down here into these lows. And as it turns out, the market kind of rallied a little bit, didn't really have that secondary move down, and instead came all the way up. Now, I kind of posted another trade here that looked logical to me. A lot of times after the gap down again and you're coming down, you've already exhausted a lot of the short-term moves. So what the market wants to do a lot of times is broaden out higher in line with the bigger picture downtrend. So you'll see this a lot on these charts where you get the move that takes out some kind of key pivot high, but then you get the big red bar and it reverses and goes with the major trend. So I'm still calling the major trend down, for the week, to kind of take out this target. But I will say that there's a little bit of conflict in play. We have this small bar in play. So if we start up above the halfway point of that bar tomorrow, this could be a situation where after 3 days this week of heading down, we could be starting. Now there's a big fair value gap in here that would act as resistance, but I could see, playing the long side. Bottom line is you have a little bit of conflict. The market on the daily chart did all it's supposed to do. It took out its high up here, and then if you look at, came down and it broadened out below these three bars. So these three bars are kind of a compound outside bar of these three bars. The question, you're projecting here on the weekly chart to reach that target, but it doesn't have to do that since it's already broadened out. And if we have a small little bar here that starts above the midpoint and has a strong opening tomorrow, you can play that upside and just broadening action to the upside, because the bottom line is, even on this monthly chart, we still have from this green bar here a 2 up a couple of months ago, and now for 2 months now, or a month and a half, we're kind of just inside of that area. So I don't see the 2 down bar yet to really call this necessarily a negative long-term chart. Obviously, after trying to push up, we're consolidating. So when you're consolidating, you can get a bunch of up and down action in between, and that's even on the daily. On the weekly chart, we haven't even reached that target. It should do that since it failed up here and took out the halfway bar, but it doesn't have to. It can remain kind of just a bar here that works down to the low of this bar, and by the end of the week, maybe you come up a little bit. So again, this is the type of thing where, even though the expectation is still to head down here tomorrow, and we'll find out from the pre-market action how things open. It is possible that it just broadened out all it needs to broaden out and could actually start up as well. So price action is always going to lead the way, but today was a pretty good trade, given that you were gapping down and you had a little follow through for a pretty long period of time for a nice gain here on the first move of the day.